Type Podcast.
Here we go. Hello, around the block and around the world. This is where we discuss, debate, and deliberate all things diabetes. Representing type 2, my name is Dobie Maxwell. Representing type 1, the vivacious, effervescent, and always in the know, Sami Parker. We'll get to Sami in seconds. But first, this episode of the Just My Type podcast brought to you by the Diabetes app, a free social community app that brings together both type 1 and type 2 diabetics, plus their supporters. Find community, resources, and Sami and me on the Diabetes app. What's up, Sami?
Nothing much, just bright and early on my end.
I know we record these at different times, and you're sitting on the West Coast.
Nice 8 a.m. for me.
Well, get up, rise and shine, do some calisthenics.
I think I got I'm not kidding, I think I got 11 hours of sleep last night, which is crazy.
And you're still tired.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's I took melatonin, no shame.
That doesn't affect your blood sugar. Now, speaking of blood sugar, now how every episode goes is how your blood sugar is. So how you feeling?
All right, well, my blood sugar, she's 160. So not perfect, but not upset about it.
That's getting close to my bowling average. So 160 is right up there.
Well, then we can never go bowling because you're too good for me.
We'll compare notes. Anyway, we have a special guest. I want to get to it. I'll let you take over. The one thing I am lucky to be with this podcast is I get to work with lovely ladies. And we have three of them, our guest, you, and Elizabeth. And I'm to the age now where I'm like your uncle. You know, pretty girls talk to me now because I'm no threat to them anymore. Oh, you're funny like my dad. But I love working with you. And if any man ever hurts any of you, I will have to kill him dead.
Thanks, Dobie. That's really nice to know.
I really enjoy working with y'all. So let's get started. Let's get our guest on because she's wonderful.
All right. So our amazing guest for today is Miss Sara Moback from Sweden. I came across Sara honestly on Instagram, which was really funny because at the time I literally was just scrolling and then it led me to Sara's page and I was mesmerized. And so I thought of her and I thought she'd be the perfect person to come on the podcast. And yeah, so welcome, Sara.
Thank you so much.
We're so excited to have you. Do you want to give a little background on yourself really quick?
I live in Stockholm at the moment. And I was growing up in a smaller town with my parents and my 3-year older brother. And I've been living, as I said before, I've been living in California for a while. And I've been traveling around, which I totally love. And this is together with my type 1 diabetes and my celiac.
Yes, that's a lot to handle while you're traveling.
Got a lot to talk about, too.
Yeah. So how long did you live in LA?
I was living there 2 years. And I'm so grateful.
Okay.
Before Corona came, I was visiting my friends over there once a year. So probably I'll be coming soon again.
Fun. We'll have to meet up.
Of course.
One thing that's great about Sami, she's been getting guests from all over the world. Now, I have never been to Sweden. We think of what? Swedish meatballs, Volvos.
Swedish fish, the candy?
Swedish fish, yeah. And also IKEA. Isn't IKEA Swedish? Yeah. So that's all we know.
Well, you can buy the meatballs at IKEA in the US.
Yeah, that's true.
No way.
I think you can.
Do you like Sweden a lot?
Well, I do appreciate Sweden, of course. Both pros and cons with everything. The weather, maybe not, but yeah.
So how about your diagnosis story? We always get our guests to tell the stories, and that's where it gets interesting. So when did you get diagnosed with type 1?
Yeah, so I was 13.
You're all kids. Sami was your kid too.
Yeah, that's when I was too. I was 12.
Oh, so many I'm talking to are 2 years old. I was so old. But anyway, I was doing a musical at my school. And just a week before the musical, my classmate told me that we were going to visit her big sister. And we were going to try out to take a blood sugar test, a finger pricks. And because she had type 1 diabetes. And all of my friends was doing the finger pricks. And I felt like I'm not going to do this. I was so afraid and so anxious. And I said no. And I'm not a no-sayer, not even back then. And the musical came. I was performing. And then afterwards, we were having cookies and milk and juice and just celebrated. And me and my parents went home. And I went to sleep. And then the phone rang. My classmate's mom, who also had a daughter who had type 1 diabetes, called my dad. And she told my dad, "Have you thought about Sara having diabetes?" And then my dad was like, "Yes." And he's a doctor. So the day after, me and my dad went to his office.
Yeah.
And they could tell me right away, okay, you have diabetes because you are so thin and you have a blood sugar we can't even measure.
What was your blood sugar?
It was too high. It was over, I don't think we have like the same measure.
What was it in the millimoles?
Millimole. It was over 77.
Is that high, Sami?
That's really high.
Is that
I
metric?
mean, it's almost dead.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's like 1,000 here. That's literally like 1,000.
That's the highest I've ever heard. I think you got the record, Sarah. We always see who gets the record. You're in first place.
So how were you in the hospital after, or how did that work?
Yes, I was there for like 3 or 4 days. And I wasn't alone. And my parents were there. My brother was there. And we all tried out to like inject myself. And
Yeah.
my family tried to take like a blood sugar test. And so like involving the whole family.
So crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. Like just checking for the heck of it with a friend, and then it's your blood sugar was high, and then
It's like striking oil, you know.
Yeah.
You hit a gusher. Did it scare you? I mean, I can't imagine being a kid and getting this diagnosis.
Yeah, it was scary. And I mean, we didn't say diabetes at the time, but we said like you have a sugar disease.
Oh.
Like the old sayings of having diabetes in Sweden.
Oh, really?
They say that here too. A friend of mine, his mom had it as a kid. He said, my mom got the sugars. She got the sugars. So the same thing.
And I didn't really know what diabetes was. And I didn't know if it's going to like be forever. Am I going to die? What is going to happen? Am I going to take these injections for the rest of my life?
When did you get celiac then? Was it after? Because I know that they say like diabetes and celiac kind of go hand in hand a lot of times.
Yeah, it really does. And today I know you are checking if a child gets celiac, you are checking if you have diabetes, if you maybe are a diabetic as well. So it's like vice versa.
When did you get celiac?
It was maybe 1 or 2 years after. They took some blood tests. And yeah.
For people that are listening and don't know what celiac is, could we explain that just to get everybody on the same page? What is celiac?
I'm intolerant to gluten, so I can't eat anything with gluten inside.
Yeah.
Which is only anything that tastes good.
Well, they have a lot of gluten-free food now and a lot of gluten-free restaurants.
There's so many things you can eat.
I just order a side order of gluten with my pizza. Cheese, sausage, and gluten.
They have a lot of gluten-free stuff, Dobie, I'm telling you.
I know. No, I know they do. And that's a big thing. I'm not making fun of it at all. But I just think some people, you know, they don't understand it.
Yeah.
And in the modern world, with our modern diet, things happen that we have to adjust to. I'm sorry you have that, but I want to make sure we all knew what it is. Elizabeth, our producer, just said 77 is over 900. So you are up there.
Yeah.
You're a Hall of Famer.
It's crazy.
Do I get a prize?
Yes, you do. You get a pound of sugar.
Yeah, I know that you had kind of struggled too with, when I come across your page, I know that you're a big advocate for eating disorders. And if you feel comfortable, it'd be awesome to hear you kind of talk about that and what kind of led you into that and how you kind of got out of it.
Yeah, I think that many people that are like seeing my page or following me think that the eating disorder is because of my diabetes. And I want to point out that there are like so many factors in life that affects you. And even if diabetes is a part of it, it's not the whole picture. So I was living in California. I moved back home because I felt like I was too far away from my family and my ex-boyfriend. And so I was moving back. And
always the ex. Move back home, throw him out there. Is he diabetic by chance?
Oh my God, we don't go there.
I'm sorry. Okay. All right.
Sorry. That's another history.
None of my business. I'm not trying to pry. So you're single is what you're saying?
Yes.
All right,
Are
gentlemen.
you my new wingman?
The diabetic dating
Everybody,
service.
Sarah is single.
Sarah's high maintenance, though, I can tell. She's going to cost you a lot, but it's worth every penny. I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm just giving you. Go ahead. We make it fun here.
Yeah. But I was struggling with my new job. I didn't know if I should study. And I was like, is this what life is all about? And then I came across some diabetes pages and I was like, okay, so if I start to like work out a lot and don't eat any carbs, I can get those dry lines. And then I realized now afterwards that that was the only thing I could control. So I cut all like food I didn't eat and I was working out totally too much. And some of my friends was like, Sarah, you have lost a lot. And are you eating? And it's like, yeah, I am. And I'm having control over my diabetes. And my diabetes doctors couldn't tell anything was wrong because my A1C was perfect and everything was like looking so good.
Did you ever have to eat though when you went low?
Yeah. So I was having like a chocolate and, things that is like getting your blood sugar up, but not in a like healthy way. And one summer, my dad was like, Sarah, you need to do something, and we are here to help. And one day after a Christmas party at work, I was waking up because at the Christmas party, I had to eat for like the first time in years. And I felt so like weird that night. So I went home. I was drinking too much alcohol and I was eating, like a normal person. But I went home, went to sleep, and was waking up on this Saturday. And my face was totally, totally swollen. And I didn't know if I was going to like laugh or cry. And the week after, I quit my job and I rang my dad and said, I've called the clinic and I'm going to get some help. And why I was so swollen is that I was in need of nutrition. So my body was like
malnourished.
reacting on the food I was having. So I was inpatient for like 6 months.
Wow. So you just didn't, how long was the span that you just didn't eat for?
It was like a few years.
Whoa.
So it went really slowly. It went really slowly, like when you're cutting down. And then you realize, like, okay, if I'm going to keep on going with this, I'm going to lose all my friends. I'm going to lose my family. I'm not going to be able to have a job. And I have so many dreams in life. And I need help to get out of like this.
Yeah,
help.
you realize like there's a purpose in life. And if you go on
Yeah.
the path you're still going,
Yeah.
you won't get to see it.
Is it difficult to ask for help? I think a lot of us, I know I am too. It's like, well, I can do this. I don't need anybody. I'll get through it. And to ask for help really is a vulnerable place in your life, but it's when it turns around for you. Is that not right?
That's true. But then at the time, I feel like if I don't like ask for help now, there's no like future. And then I like, okay, I don't have anything to lose. Well, my
Your
life.
life, that's
Yeah.
pretty important.
So that was the thing. And afterwards, like today, I feel like I can ask for help like in a better way today. And I feel like more people that I'm talking to about like asking for help, or I'm not going to think that you are a bad person or a weird one or like an outsider, because everyone needs help. We are
Totally.
humans.
That's one of the reasons we created the show, is for that reason. So if somebody listening is like, boy, I can use help too. I'm where Sara was. I'm where Sami was. I'm even where Dobie was, a type 2. And we appreciate you sharing your story. And again, I know I joke a little bit and we have fun, but we never make fun. So thank you for being so open and honest with us. We really appreciate
Yeah,
that.
thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Let's talk good things. Where are you going now? I mean, you're going in a good direction now. What's positive about your life?
Well, I want to do more for other people who are living with diabetes, because I feel like there's a gap between the healthcare people and the patients.
There definitely is a gap there.
The patients need to like be more involved in what is going on in their life with their disease.
Right now, like, what's your primary job?
So I work as a key account manager full
Okay.
time in the beauty industry.
I know. Well, you look like it. You're beautiful. So
Thank you.
You're all beautiful. I love you all. So it's all good. You got a double thumbs up from Wisconsin.
thanks, Dobie. Double thumbs up from Wisconsin.
Not like anything I say means anything, but you're all very beautiful women.
Thank you,
Elizabeth,
Dobie.
too. We can't see her. She is as well.
So, Sara, you have been kind of an advocate for a while now. What like made you want to go on Instagram and kind of like promote it? Because you have a very big following, which is awesome because your audience then gets to learn from you. But what kind of like was an incentive for you to do that, or a reason for you to do that?
I really love the diabetes community, and I really love the feedback I get when I'm sharing my everyday life and share the topics that I'm thinking of during a day. Or I love to cook and to show like you can eat anything. You don't have to go on a diet if you don't want to. Like it's up to you.
Yeah.
And because of the feedback.
So do you find it easy now? Like, do you ever catch yourself kind of sometimes still thinking about the mindset from before, or do you feel like you've completely been able to separate the two?
I think some days are hard and some days are not. And it's getting easier. Even if when I was inpatient, it was like 2000, in the beginning of 2017. So some days I do have a close friend who was like inpatient with me. She's not a diabetic. So I'm talking to her if I'm feeling like anxious or if I'm like having the wrong thoughts.
Yeah.
But I know today, like I know I have to eat.
Yeah.
And if I'm not, Like my brain is maybe is going to be happy, but I know that my body and my soul is not.
Yeah, with like diabetes, it's honestly something that's really common and so easy because even for me, like there's been times that it's difficult because I try to tell my friends and family, but I base off of not now necessarily, but for a while when I was insulin resistant, I based
Mhm.
what I ate off of my blood sugars. So like
Yeah.
I had to do that in order to really have good blood sugars. Like I was, okay, I'm not like I didn't eat fruit for like 4 years because I just couldn't.
Wow.
Like I would wait and eat till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock on purpose. Wait, eat something, eat dinner, and then not eat past 6. And that was like what I had to do in order to keep decent blood sugars. And I wasn't like malnourished or anything like I was because I ate a lot during the window period of like when I was at intermittent fasting. But it was even like that could have easily turned into something greater. But I just
Yeah.
didn't really allow myself to go there. But honestly, inevitable at times because that's what you're doing with diabetes. You're literally trying to have good blood sugar.
Yeah, and I feel like many people that I'm talking to is having the same story as you have. And I do want to like say that that is not a proper life. You
No.
can choose to live with that, but only for a while. But then you do want to have a social life as well. And then like you want to have a life and then you have to adjust your blood sugar for the day you are going into.
Yeah.
The Diabetes app is an online community platform that was created to help people living with diabetes find support and information in one spot.
And on the diabetes app, you can join groups and connect with other people all over the world who are also living with diabetes. I mean, for me, whenever I have a bad day, I find myself scrolling through the mental wellness group just to reassure myself that I'm not alone.
The Diabetes app has a resource section where you can find articles, recipes, tips, and tricks for managing your diabetes. Download the Diabetes app today and connect with us right on the app.
DiaStrong is an online telehealth platform that connects you to medical and holistic professionals to help you manage your diabetes. Find registered dietitians, nutritionists, certified diabetes educators, and more without the hassle of having to go into a doctor's office.
Wait. You mean a lazy bum like me can have appointments right from my computer? Sign me up.
That's right, Dobie. And this week, our listeners can use promo code JMT25 for 25% off their first visit.
Yeah, don't try to cheat and go to JMT26 because you're not going to get 26. It's 25. Go to www.diastronghealth.com. That's www.diastronghealth.com. We are back on the Just My Type podcast. I'm Dobie Maxwell. She is Sami Parker, vivacious in the know and bubbly as always. Her teeth are brushed and her blood sugar's looking good. Sara Moback is our guest. Sara, we were wondering, since you lived over here in the States and most of our listeners at the moment are in the States, how do you feel the differences between diabetic care in the States versus Sweden where you live now? Is there a difference? Did you feel anything different over here?
Yes, I feel the difference is that in Sweden we are insurance, so I don't need to pay for my insulin, for example. And I think that's the biggest one compared to America, that you have to pay for your own insulin, which is an issue. We are paying taxes, and that's included in I'm not sure if I'm saying it correct.
It's like a socialized healthcare system?
Yes.
Okay.
Believe me, we're paying taxes here too, kid.
Yeah, I know.
You know what's crazy? That's actually interesting, but my mom and I were just talking about this. So somebody posted this on Instagram and they were saying like a gallon of insulin is, what is it, $117,000? Yeah, $117,000. And so it's wild because my parents went to the CVS the other day, pharmacy, and they were like, for some reason, it was like insurance didn't cover, but normally insurance does cover for part of it. And they wanted to charge like $600 for a small little vial of insulin. And my mom was like, how? Like, do they think that people can just afford to pay out of pocket for insulin? Like, it's absolutely crazy. Because honestly, being diabetic in the US is probably the worst place to be diabetic for that reason. The new CGM just came out and Europe already has it, I heard. And that's like awesome. But for us, like, we probably won't get it for now another 2 years. That's crazy. So you can kind of just go whenever and get however much insulin you need.
No, we get a prescription. And so, yes, no, I can't take how much insulin I would like to. So I can't like take out insulin and send to you because they see that, oh my God, Sara is like can't using that much of insulin.
Okay. So like when you go, is it like a monthly thing or how does that work?
It's difference between where you go and which kind of hospital. And because I've been a diabetic for like 19 years. So I know how much insulin I need. So I get how do you say it?
Prescription, yeah.
Oh
Prescription.
my God, it's so hard to say.
It's all good.
For I think it's a few months.
Okay. That's so crazy because, like, as far as taxes go, do you guys pay high in taxes?
Yeah.
I wonder how does that kind of work? Because I know, like, obviously, like Dobie and I, like, we pay a lot in taxes, but it still doesn't really go towards healthcare. Dobie,
You
can
know,
you
I
shed
think
some
it's
light
going
on
to get
that?
political, and I don't know, no matter what I say, it's going to make somebody angry. But we do pay a lot of taxes in the States, and Big Pharma is, that seems to be everybody can't stand Big Pharma. They seem to have, and I'm all for profits. We live in America. I'm all for the capitalist lifestyle. But there comes a point where how much do you need?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild, though. I'm very jealous, honestly, that you just get insulin.
But don't you think, I mean, it's nobody's fault that they get diabetes. I think it should be, could we sue somebody over here and say, look, what do you want a poor person to do if they have diabetes? They need insulin. So I think they should be able to get.
And I know that many people are actually like fighting for getting the insulin and get the right amount of food with the money you have.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
It's really sad. That's what's hard is like when you think about it, if somebody doesn't have health insurance here and they're going to pay, it's like nobody can pay $6,000 out of pocket right there.
Well, that's the thing. I'm self-employed as an entertainer, and my insurance plan, I have the 100% deductible. I have to sell a kidney to pay for my other, I joke about it, but it's really not funny. There are millions of people over here that really have a hard time with it. That's why I wanted to get your input, because you lived in both places, to see what you thought. That's why you went back home and said, I'm not paying for this. I'm going home. I got IKEA at home. I don't need to come over here and see it. Make my own meatball. The weather is.
But the weather.
I will say that.
Yeah.
Don't forget the weather.
What's the weather in Sweden?
Well, today we are having kind of a spring day. So it's like 14, 13 degrees.
Celsius?
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, that's
Well,
still
it's
cold.
always sunny inside your computer. So we're glad you're listening.
Well, Sarah, if you have 2 pieces of advice for like all of our listeners that are dealing with diabetes or celiac or just any autoimmune, what is your 2 pieces of advice?
I think don't be afraid of changes, because life is going to change and nothing is monotone. So don't be afraid and ask for help, even if it's your siblings, a colleague, your family, or someone you don't know.
Awesome.
Sami, once again, the episode got away from us. Where does the time go, kid?
I don't know. It goes all towards Sarah.
It does. Sarah, thanks for joining us. We really do appreciate you. You were a very good guest.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we will again.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, you're going to have to come on again and talk more because I feel like we got cut short with you.
Love to.
For those of you that don't know, you can find Sarah on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at Sara Moback. But for right now, Sarah, what is our question of the pod?
So the question is, what is your feel-good food?
Yes.
Feel-good food, that's redundant. Any food is feel-good food.
All right, Dobie, you're right on that. So please, if you could rate, review, and subscribe, we would love if you guys could share that with us at our Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at JustMyTypePod _ our Facebook at JustMyTypePod, and our hashtag is #JustMyTypePod.
Are we on the Twitter?
And the Twitter. Yes.
We're on the Twitter.
We're
You
on
said we
the
make fun of
Twitter.
that, Sarah. You said, you got the diabetes? No, we're on the Twitter. Go talk about that. What is your favorite feel-good food, ladies?
So mine is definitely chocolate.
What woman isn't?
All day, every day.
That's okay. A certain brand you like?
I'm all into like the milk chocolate thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like so special with nuts or anything. Like totally clean milk chocolate.
Pure, clean milk chocolate. 3-4 pounds. I don't know how much that is in the metric system. 5 pounds. How about you, Sami?
My feel-good food is, I like popcorn. Like our producer Elizabeth said, popcorn's great.
Popcorn is good.
Dobie, what's yours?
I like sushi. I don't know why.
Yes.
It's like an exotic food where I come from. I live in, with farms, the Midwest, so people don't eat raw fish, but I love it here. Sushi is my thing. If I'm going to death in the electric chair, that's my last meal. Elizabeth likes it too.
A triplet then, because I like sushi too.
Not the meatballs.
No, not raw meatballs. No, you got to cook the meatballs along with sushi. That's a good thing. Sarah, thank you. Sami, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much again for coming on.
And you're listening. Thank you. Binge listen. Listen to us when you're exercising. Much more to come. This is the Just My Type podcast. We love you. Thank you for listening.
Say la vie, baby.
This is the Just My Type podcast.